among civilians, using those civilians as human shields, all in an effort to paint the Israeli military as the enemy. Sadly, there are some on the left in this country that are buying into that very absurd notion. Take a look.
We have to support Iron Dome to protect the Israelis from the missiles. We have to support the Palestinians and what they need. And we have to confer with the Qataris, who have told me over and over again that Hamas is a humanitarian organization. Maybe they could use their influence to
the U.S. thinks they're a terrorist organization, though, correct to you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Humanitarian, joining me now with reaction, is the main subject of a new documentary titled The Green Prince, which is out in September. He is also the son of the founder of Hamas, Mosab H.Yousef, is with us. Sir, thank you for being with us. Appreciate it.
Hi, Sean. Thank you for having me again.
Let me start with the Hamas charter, because it's very clear, and they have never denounced this charter. And we'll put it up on the screen, and it's very clear that it calls for the obliteration and the destruction. Israel will exist and will continue to exist until Islam will obliterate it, just as it obliterated others before it. So is it a humanitarian organization that wants to obliterate Israel?
Well, Hamas movement is not a national organization, and it's not a humanitarian organization. Hamas is a terrorist organization with a humanitarian face to it. Basically, Hamas hijacked what's so-called the Palestinian cause to push their political and religious, most importantly, ideological agendas. Hamas does not care. If tomorrow Israel comes to Hamas and say, we give you the 1967 borders, Hamas is not going to agree for that.
Yeah.
Basically, because they don't have political boundaries to their ideology. They want to destroy the state of Israel. They want to destroy any country that does not believe in their ideology.
Yeah. When Nancy Pelosi, I mean, she's a former Speaker of the House, I got to assume that she reads a newspaper. She said, well, the Qataris, they tell me they're a humanitarian organization. Meanwhile, they just fired 3,000 rockets into Israel. They kidnapped 3 Israeli students and slaughtered them. Why do you think there are so many in this country that are reluctant to identify Hamas for what they are, a radical terrorist group, radical Islamic terrorist group?
Well, I think the Qataris take some responsibility in what's happening right now, because they funded Hamas over the last decade. And also Turkey did the same. Saleh al-Aruri, one of Hamas's top leaders, lives today in Turkey. He was the one who gave the commands for those Hamas members from the West Bank to kidnap the Israeli kids and slaughter them in Hebron. So basically, those powers in the region, they need to stop supporting Hamas organization, because Hamas organization simply is a terrorist organization, and she does not care about the lives of Palestinians. She does not care about the lives of Israelis either.
Let me ask you, why do you speak out? Your father is the founder of Hamas. You're the son of the founder of Hamas, a terrorist organization. Why have you chosen to speak out as strongly as you do?
Well, one day Islam and Hamas were my project. As a family, we paid very high price for the sake of Hamas, for the sake of Palestine, and I grew up witnessing all the bloodshed and the dirty politics behind it. And at some point of my life, I choose to move on. But today I feel the responsibility. You know, the children of Gaza remind me of myself 20 years ago. How we were crying in the streets, not knowing what's going on. And the politicians were sending us to death. And they were encouraging more people to die. Because the people of Gaza and the children of Gaza stop to die, many people will be out of business, basically. And this is the time to speak against them, actually to do everything within my ability to unmask their faces.
Mosab, one last question. We have a President of the United States and a Secretary of State, John Kerry, that are continually pressuring Israel into a ceasefire. would it not be in Israel's best interest, considering 3,000 rockets were fired at them, to take out the infrastructure of Hamas, take out the tunnels of Hamas, find where the rockets are being hidden and take them away? Do you think that a president of the United States should be pressuring them to stop before they actually break up the infrastructure of this group?
Well, I encourage the President of the United States of America, President Obama, to make a hard decision. This is where leadership can be shown. At moments like this, I understand that there are children dying in Gaza Strip, but how many Gaza wars are we going to witness in the future if we don't stop Hamas now? Israel is in the middle of the job. Let's help them, let's support them, uproot and disarm Hamas. Without disarming Hamas, Hamas will use children as shield, human shield in the future, and there will be more wars and there will be more children. This is not the first Gaza war. It has been, like now we have, this is the fourth, and there will be many. So I'm asking the President of the United States of America, as the supreme power in this world, we have responsibility. He has responsibility. We know that it's a tough decision. It's not about siding with Israel. Israel is a democratic country, and I'm not taking sides here. I have family also in Gaza that I care about. But those family and many Palestinians are suffering from Hamas. And Israel is doing them the biggest favor of fighting against the Hamas organization.
All right, Mosab, very powerful message tonight. Thank you. And while Israel does what it needs to in order to protect its citizens, well, the Obama administration has been reluctant to vocally back one of America's closest allies. Now, just yesterday,